Most men have been fed a lie their entire lives. They've been told attraction is something you're either born with or you're not. That women simply feel it for certain guys, and if you weren't blessed with it, game over. End of story. But here's the truth, brother. Attraction is not some magic lottery. It's not random, and it's not luck. Desire can be built. Respect can be earned. And women are drawn, almost magnetically, to men who live with strength, purpose, and control. Think about it. You've seen guys who aren't the tallest, richest, or the best-looking, yet women lean in, laugh harder, and fight for their attention. Why? Because they embody traits every woman instinctively craves: confidence, mystery, direction, emotional composure. A life that feels bigger than the relationship itself. The problem is, most men never learn this. They beg for attention, they overshare, they chase instead of lead. And the more they do it, the less attractive they become. That ends here. Because on this channel, Stoic Manhood Guide, we don't play childish games, we don't rely on tricks, and we don't settle for approval seeking. We master ourselves first. And by doing that, we naturally draw in the kind of women who see us as high-value men. So if you've ever wondered why she lost interest, why she pulls away, or why you feel invisible in the dating world, stick with me. Because starting today, you're going to see exactly how attraction is built, step by step, from the inside out. This is where manhood meets mastery. Welcome to Stoic Manhood Guide. The very first principle of becoming a man women are truly drawn to is this: stop seeking approval. Now, I know that sounds simple, but it runs deeper than you think. Most men, without even realizing it, spend their entire lives begging for validation. From childhood, they're trained to win the gold star, get the grade, impress the teacher, impress the boss, impress the girl. Somewhere along the way, they start believing their value only exists when somebody else says, "Good job." And when it comes to women, this habit destroys attraction. Because here's the truth. Every time you fish for approval, every time you're waiting for her to tell you you're funny enough, handsome enough, or good enough, you're telling her, without words, that you don't believe in yourself. Think about it. A man who constantly asks, "Was that okay? Do you like me? Did I do this right?" isn't showing confidence. He's showing insecurity. And women can feel that energy instantly. It kills the spark before it even starts. Women aren't attracted to men who need permission to exist. They're attracted to men who already know who they are. Men who live by their own code. Men who don't need to be stamped with approval like a child's homework. So how do you break this cycle? You flip the script. Instead of chasing validation, you start living with standards. Your standards. That means you decide what's acceptable, what's not, and how you want to be treated. You stop trying to win every conversation. You stop bending your opinions to fit hers, and you stop apologizing for being yourself. Picture it like this: imagine walking into a room, not wondering, "Will they like me?" but instead asking, "Do I like the energy here? Do I respect these people enough to share my time with them?" That shift changes everything, because suddenly, you're no longer a beggar at the gate. You're the prize. You're the man with options. And here's the paradox. When you stop chasing approval, that's when you start getting more of it. Not because you begged for it, but because people, especially women, can sense that you're grounded. You're not desperate. You're centered in yourself. And that confidence pulls them in like gravity. Listen, Approval seeking is weakness disguised as politeness. Real strength comes from self-respect. And when you respect yourself enough to stop begging for validation, women notice. They may not say it out loud, but they feel it. So the next time you catch yourself trying to impress a woman, stop. Breathe. Remind yourself, I don't need her approval. I choose who I let into my world. That's the first step to becoming a high-value man. And once you master it, attraction stops being something you chase and starts being something you naturally inspire. The second principle to building attraction is this: trigger her curiosity. See, one of the biggest mistakes men make is laying everything out on the table too fast. They think if they just tell her everything about themselves, their job, their hobbies, their life story, she'll be impressed. But here's the harsh reality: when you give away everything at once, you kill mystery. And without mystery, there's no excitement. Curiosity is the oxygen of attraction. It's what keeps her leaning in, wondering about you, replaying conversations in her head long after you've left. Women don't want a man they can figure out in 10 minutes. They want a man who leaves them thinking, who is he really? What else is there to know? Think about your favorite movie or book. If you knew the ending 5 minutes in, would you keep watching? Probably not. The same principle applies here. When you're an open book with no secrets, you remove the adventure. But when you reveal just enough to spark interest, while holding back the rest, you keep her hooked. Now, let me be clear. This doesn't mean playing fake games or lying about who you are. That's cheap, and it always backfires. What I'm talking about is living a life with depth, layers she can discover over time. Maybe you have passions, skills, or experiences that don't all come up at once. Maybe you let her see one side of you today, and another side next week. You're not hiding anything. You're simply not serving it all up like a buffet. Here's how it looks in practice. Instead of dumping your entire story on a first date, you keep it light. You let her talk more. You share pieces of yourself, but you don't explain every detail. If she asks about your past, give her a glimpse, not a full documentary. If she asks about your goals, give her the big picture, not the entire business plan. And here's the magic: when you hold something back, she'll lean in closer. She'll want to ask more. She'll want to spend more time with you, just to figure you out. That's curiosity at work. Men who overshare think they're bonding, but what they're really doing is suffocating attraction. Men who master curiosity understand that silence, mystery, and pacing are powerful tools. So ask yourself, are you a man she can figure out in one sitting, or are you a man she'll spend weeks trying to understand? The more she wonders about you, the more invested she becomes. At the end of the day, attraction isn't just about looks or status. It's about creating an experience, a sense of intrigue. If she can't stop thinking about you, she can't stop being drawn to you. That's the power of curiosity. It's not about hiding. It's about letting her discover you, layer by layer, like chapters in a story she never wants to put down. Confidence. Every man knows he needs it, but few men truly understand what it is. Most think confidence means being loud, bragging, or acting like the alpha in the room. But that's not confidence. That's insecurity wearing a mask. Real confidence is quiet. It's steady. It's the kind of presence you feel before the man even opens his mouth. And women can sense it instantly. It's in how you walk, how you sit, how you handle yourself when things don't go your way. Here's the truth: attraction collapses without confidence. You can have the looks, the money, the lifestyle, but if you're insecure, she'll feel it. Because insecurity leaks out in small ways. In the way you over-explain yourself. In the way you check her face for approval after every joke. In the way you crumble when someone challenges you. Confidence isn't about never feeling nervous. It's about standing firm, even when you are nervous. It's about trusting that you can handle whatever happens. So how do you build unshakable confidence? You earn it. You don't fake it. You don't memorize lines or copy someone else's swagger. You create it through action, through challenge, through discipline, through facing the parts of yourself you used to run from. Start with your body. Train it. Push it. When you know you can run the miles, lift the weight, or fight through the pain, your posture changes. Start with your word. Keep promises to yourself, even the small ones. When you say you'll wake up early, you do it. When you say you'll finish the project, you finish it. That builds self-respect, and self-respect is the foundation of confidence. And here's something most men overlook: confidence isn't about being better than every other man. It's about being better than the man you were yesterday. If you know you're growing, if you know you're evolving, then you don't need to compare. You carry certainty in your own lane. Women love this. Not because you're showing off, but because your energy says, I'm good. I know who I am. I don't need to prove it to anyone. That's magnetic. But listen carefully. Confidence doesn't mean arrogance. Arrogance is puffing your chest, talking down to others, needing constant attention. True confidence is calm. You don't need to broadcast it, because it's written all over you. When you walk into a room with unshakable confidence, you don't chase people. They gravitate toward you. When you sit across from a woman, she can feel your self-assurance without you saying a word. So remember this: build your confidence brick by brick through action, discipline, and growth. When it's real, it never wavers. And when it never wavers, that's when attraction becomes unstoppable. One of the most attractive traits a man can ever have is this: purpose. Because without it, you're just drifting. And drifting men never inspire respect, let alone desire. See, most guys make the mistake of building their entire world around a woman. They wake up thinking about her. They change their plans to fit hers. They drop everything just to be available. On the surface, it looks like dedication, but underneath, it screams weakness. Because a man without a greater mission will always orbit around someone else's. Women don't want to be your mission. They want to join a man who already has one. A man who wakes up with fire in his gut, chasing goals bigger than himself. A man who doesn't crumble when a text goes unanswered, because he's too focused on building, creating, achieving. That kind of man is magnetic. Purpose is the backbone of masculine energy. When you know where you're going, when you're climbing towards something meaningful, whether it's your career, your business, your craft, or even your personal growth, people feel it. Women feel it. They sense the drive, the direction, the hunger. And that's what makes them lean in. Now, here's the key: your purpose can't just be getting girls. That's too small, too shallow. It won't last, and it won't inspire anyone. Your purpose has to be about building something that matters. To you, to your future, maybe even to the world. Think about the men you admire. They're not chasing women all day. They're chasing vision. They're locked into something bigger than themselves. And guess what? Women chase them. Because women crave that energy, the energy of a man who knows where he's going and refuses to be knocked off course. And here's the paradox. When you stop making her the center of your life, she actually wants to be a part of it more. She respects your boundaries. She admires your ambition. She feels safe knowing you're not needy. You're grounded, driven, unstoppable. So ask yourself, what am I building? What am I fighting for? What keeps me moving when I'm tired, when I'm discouraged, when nobody's clapping? That's your purpose. And when you connect to it, you walk differently. You speak differently. You don't need to prove value, because your life already demonstrates it. Ambition is the fuel. Purpose is the direction. Together, they create a man women can't resist. Not because you're chasing them, but because you're chasing something greater, and they want to come along for the ride. Remember this: love without purpose feels empty. Attraction without ambition fades fast. But when you carry both, you don't just draw women in, you inspire them. And that's the difference between being liked for a moment and being desired for a lifetime. If there's one skill that separates boys from men, it's this: emotional control. See, most guys don't realize how much power they give away just by losing control of their emotions. They get jealous too quickly. They snap when they're frustrated. They spiral when a woman pulls back. And every time they do, they're silently telling her, "I'm not stable. I can't be trusted with pressure. I can't handle myself." The women pick up on that instantly. Because deep down, what do women really want? Security. Not just financial, not just physical, emotional security. They want to feel that no matter what storm hits, the man next to them will stay grounded. So let me say this clearly. If you can't manage your emotions, you'll never hold lasting attraction. You might get her attention for a while, but eventually she'll pull away, because she doesn't feel safe with a man who's one mood swing away from chaos. Now, mastering emotional control doesn't mean becoming a robot. It doesn't mean you never feel anger, jealousy, or sadness. It means you feel them, but you don't let them run the show. You don't let temporary emotions make permanent decisions. Think about the men you respect. They don't freak out over little things. They don't chase after arguments. They don't get rattled when life throws a punch. They pause. They breathe. They respond with clarity instead of reacting with chaos. That's strength. Here's the secret: emotional control comes from awareness. The next time you feel triggered, notice it. Don't hide it. Don't deny it. Acknowledge it. Then, create space between the feeling and your reaction. Maybe that means walking away for a moment. Maybe it means saying less instead of saying more. That pause is where power lives. And the more you practice, the more unshakable you become. Imagine sitting across from a woman who's testing you. Because yes, women test men all the time. Instead of getting defensive, instead of snapping back, you smile. You stay calm. You hold your ground without raising your voice. She'll feel it. She'll respect it. She'll be drawn to it. Because here's the truth: emotional control is masculine energy in its purest form. It's the ability to stand like a rock when everyone else is crumbling, and women are instinctively attracted to that. So remember this: every outburst weakens your presence. Every meltdown chips away at her respect. But every moment of calm strength builds your value. Master your emotions, and you master the frame. And once you master the frame, you don't just win her attraction, you win her trust, and that's priceless. Here's a truth most men don't want to face: your lifestyle speaks louder than your words. You can talk all day about being confident, about being ambitious, about wanting respect, but if your daily life doesn't reflect it, none of it matters. Women don't just look at you, they look at the world you've built around you. And if that world feels small, sloppy, or stagnant, attraction dies before it even begins. Now listen, I'm not saying you need a Lamborghini or $1 million penthouse. That's not what lifestyle means. Elevating your lifestyle isn't about showing off. It's about living with standards. It's about building a life that makes you proud, a life that inspires respect, with or without a woman in it. Think about it. What hits harder? A man who sits at home scrolling all day, waiting for her to reply, or a man who's training his body, sharpening his mind, stacking his wins, and building a circle of people who push him forward? The second man doesn't even need to say a word. His life speaks for him. Here's the psychology: humans are tribal by nature, and women are wired to want to be part of a man's tribe that feels like it's going somewhere. If your life is stagnant, she feels no pull. But if your life is growing, structured, disciplined, and exciting, she doesn't want to be left behind. That's why elevating your lifestyle is non-negotiable. It changes everything. It's the difference between chasing women and having women chase the chance to be part of your world. So how do you elevate? You start with the basics. Take care of your body. Your body is your first calling card. When you walk into a room, your posture, your energy, your fitness, they all speak before your mouth even opens. Next, sharpen your mind. Read, learn, expand. Don't be the guy who only talks about sports and memes. Be the guy who's building depth. Then, pursue passions, hobbies, skills. Build a life that excites you. Because when you live with excitement, it radiates. It pulls people in without effort. And here's the most important part: discipline. Discipline is the backbone of an elevated lifestyle. Anyone can get motivated for a week. Anyone can post about grinding on social media. But a man who lives with daily discipline, who shows progress month after month, that's the man she notices. That's the man who separates himself from the crowd. So hear me on this. Attraction isn't about begging for her attention. It's about living in a way that makes her want to step into your world, a lifestyle of strength, of growth, of vision. Elevate your lifestyle, and you don't just make her curious. You make her respect you. You make her want to follow you. And when that happens, everything changes. Here's a hard truth. The most powerful move a man can make is to pull back. Most guys do the opposite. The moment they feel a woman slipping away, they panic. They text more, they call more, they beg for reassurance. And every time they do, they dig themselves deeper into a hole of neediness. What they don't realize is this: the more you chase, the less she respects you. The more you smother, the more she suffocates. But when you withdraw your attention, that's when everything shifts. See, attention is a form of currency. It's energy. It's validation. And when you give it freely, without her earning it, it becomes worthless. But when you pull it back, when you stop pouring energy into someone who's not matching it, that's when its value skyrockets. Think about it like supply and demand. If you flood the market with cheap goods, nobody wants them. But if supply is rare, suddenly people crave it. Your attention works the same way. Here's the psychology: women test men, not because they're cruel, but because they want to see if your frame holds. If you crumble when she pulls back, She knows she has control. But if you hold steady, or better yet, step back yourself, she feels your strength. She realizes, this man doesn't need me. He chooses me. And that difference changes everything. Now, withdrawing attention doesn't mean playing childish games. It doesn't mean ghosting for no reason, or acting cold just to manipulate. It means knowing your worth. It means refusing to invest in someone who isn't investing back. It means walking away from disrespect, from mixed signals, from half-hearted effort. And here's the beauty: when you withdraw, one of two things happens. Either she steps up, realizing she doesn't want to lose you, or she fades away, proving she was never truly interested. Either way, you win. You save your time, your energy, and your dignity. This principle isn't just about women, it's about life. When you withdraw attention from things that drain you, negative people, endless distractions, empty habits, you create space for growth, for discipline, for strength. The world respects the man who respects his own time. So let me paint you a picture. She starts pulling away. Instead of sending 5 texts, you send none. Instead of asking what's wrong, you focus on your mission. You hit the gym. You work on your craft. You elevate your lifestyle. She notices. She feels your absence. And 9 times out of 10, she comes back, curious, intrigued, even a little desperate. Because here's the paradox: the less you need her attention, the more she craves yours. So remember this. Desperation repels, detachment attracts. Withdraw your attention when it's not being valued, and you'll never have to beg for respect again. So there you have it. 7 principles that separate the weak from the strong, the boys from the men, the needy from the grounded. Let's run it back real quick. Principle 1: hold the frame. Don't let anyone knock you off balance. Principle 2: build scarcity. Your time, your energy, your presence. They're valuable because they're rare. Principle 3: lead with purpose. You're not drifting, you're driving. Principle 4: stop seeking approval. Respect yourself first, and the world follows. Principle 5: master emotional control. Feel the fire, but never let it consume you. Principle 6: elevate your lifestyle. Live with standards, and your life will speak louder than your words. And Principle 7: withdraw your attention. When it's not valued, pull it back, and watch the power shift. Now, here's the thing, brother. These aren't just tips. This isn't some quick fix dating hack. These are principles, laws of masculine energy that don't just change your relationships, they change your life. Because when you live like this, you stop playing games. You stop chasing validation. You stop handing your power away. Instead, you become the man who leads, the man who attracts, the man who inspires. You become the kind of man who doesn't beg for attention. He commands respect, and women feel that instantly. They can't always explain it, but they know it when they see it. It's in your eyes, in your posture, in the way you move through the world. You don't even need to announce it. Your presence does the talking. But here's the challenge: most men hear this and do nothing. They nod their heads, maybe feel fired up for a few minutes, and then slip right back into old habits. Don't let that be you. Don't just hear these principles. Live them, practice them. Make them the foundation of who you are. Because the world doesn't need more men chasing approval. It doesn't need more men losing control of their emotions. It doesn't need more men shrinking to fit in. The world needs men of discipline, men of vision, men who embody strength in the quiet, steady way that speaks louder than any words. And that's what this channel is about. Stoic Manhood Guide is here to sharpen you, to challenge you, to strip away the weakness so the strength can rise. So if this message hit you, if you feel that fire in your chest right now, don't let it die out. Subscribe. Join the brotherhood. Share this with a man who needs to hear it. And above all, start living these principles today, not tomorrow. Because tomorrow isn't promised, but the man you choose to become. That starts now. Stay strong, stay disciplined, stay grounded. This is Stoic Manhood Guide, and we're just getting started.